Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Concert Junkies, Rob and John. Oh, yeah. All right, guys, first time ever comedy special, half an hour. I'd like to introduce PJ Turner.
Hi.
I want to thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course.
Give me there's an issue. Just give me 1 second. And we're good now. For some reason, Facebook was giving an issue. All right, the floor is yours, kiddo.
All right, thank you very much. All right. So, great to be here. Great to start off this virtual platform. Pleasantries aside, let's start. So I saw a squirrel rape another squirrel today. Let me just explain. I could tell it was rape. She didn't want it, and he only got 2 years, which I think is not fair. Actually, that's a lie. I feel like that's fair. Any rape you can pull off in a tree, you should be able to get away with. And I think that, yeah, while we're on the subject, I always find it funny when girls get mad that their father won't let them wear an outfit out of the house because it's too sexy. I'd be fucking flattered. Like, did my dad just call me rapeable? Oh my god. But yeah, I you can sense some daddy issues, whatever. But I think the level of horror you should strive to be in front of your father is your father should never know your nipples are pierced. I think that's the level of horror you should strive to be in front of your father. And families are weird in general. I'm going to be honest with you. I've jerked off in the place my grandfather died. Listen, after. And let me tell you, that was a rocky battlefield. And no, it was my grandmother's shower. I'm not a weirdo. But this part of my personality, you can judge me all you want. I've gone to AA High, and let me start. I think we start off on the wrong foot. I have gone to AA High, and you can. I asked, like, hey, my name is PJ. Have you guys ever wondered whether cucumbers are more green or more long? But yeah, they weren't very receptive to that. But I become a different person when I'm high. It's fucking crazy. I could be the most PC, polite people pleaser during the day, and then at night I'm just, man, people of color are in every commercial now, huh? But yeah, I become an awful person. I've gotten kicked out of a concert once, not because I was smoking there, not because I was causing a scene. I was just high out of my mind at a Counting Crows concert. And of course, just as the song was finishing, and I'm not proud of this, I go, that special needs guy looks like my therapist. security had a hair trigger on that one. Yeah, I'm in a lot of therapy. Shocker, I know. But I was talking to my therapist the other day about my bad luck with relationships, and he was saying that I tend to bring out the worst in people because I only argue with personal attacks and low blows. Fuck you, you balding bastard. But I was thinking a little bit more about what he said, and I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense, because I always thought that I was the victim, but maybe I was putting people on their heels and forcing them to say crazy shit. So like the fight that broke up my last relationship, I was probably being real nasty, and then my ex eventually yells, "Well, your butthole's not as shaved as you think it is." Well then. So then my roommates found out I have a stubbly asshole. Yeah. I can't judge though. I've yelled some fucked up shit too. Sometimes not even on purpose. Like I have a dog. Her name is Junie. And you know how your nicknames for your pet kind of just devolve over time into nonsense? Well, I call her Juju. And I didn't think that was a problem until I'm walking her down the street yelling, "Jew! Jew!" And a few heads turn. Shalom. Yeah, but I love my dog though. I originally got her to be a psychiatric service dog because I'm bipolar. And my bipolar support group held a summer picnic. If there's any group of people better suited for lighthearted summer fun, like, hey, where's Jeff? Oh, he's over there cutting himself, but you could talk to Wanda. She's just spazzing out because her hot dog was a little crispy. But yeah, I was thinking about going on disability for a little while there when it got real bad. But adults with disabilities are always funny because you never know how patronizing to be with them. Like I had to take a cigarette out of a mentally disabled man's mouth the other day. See him a lot more peaceful.
PJ, you're muted.
I wasn't saying anything bad. I don't know if they muted me because they thought I was going to say something bad. I wasn't saying anything bad. I was smoking in the park, and this disabled guy comes up to me and asks for a cigarette. I'm not going to do his voice, and he's an adult, so I gave him one. And then from across the park, I hear no, and it's his mom. All right, I'll move on. Okay, so where was I going with that? Let's see. Yeah, I was talking about, let's see, assholes and shaving asshole. Yeah, okay, so I almost shaved my friend's asshole in high school for $20. And she had a dick appointment. And I wasn't fucking in high school, so I know you're like, what? You know? But I figured I'd help out where I could. I'd compare it to when the singer in a band plays air guitar next to the guitarist while they're doing a solo. Like yeah, dude, you're helping. Anyway, I say almost because she originally offered me $15, and I, being the dignified person that I am, said I wouldn't do it for less than $20. So we were at a stalemate. But this friend's name she has a grown-ass name. Her name is Susan. And I always think about those like 50-year-old office worker names. Like they had to be babies once, right? Like somebody had to be like, "Come here, Cheryl. Oh my goodness, Donna, you're so cute. Yes, you are. Oh my goodness." My mother had a student once whose name was spelled JKMN. And she's usually pretty good with names, but with that one, she was like, "Dude, you gotta help me out." And the kid was like, "It's Noelle." JKMN. No L. Noel. And some name.
You're muted again.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
You ever see those rest stops on the highway named after important people like Thomas Edison or Winston Churchill? But I want to see rest stops named after somebody where you're kind of like, where's the OJ service area? Where's the Lorena Bobbitt roadside plaza? Like, you always see those signs on the highway that say text to report aggressive driving. I always feel like that's a trap. Like, somebody cuts you off, you text the hotline going 80 miles an hour, somebody pulls you over and you think the cops are coming after the guy, and all of a sudden you're in handcuffs. Like, I thought I was being an upstanding citizen. Yeah, but anyway, back to Susan. I was over Susan's house one day and I was thirsty, so I go in the fridge and I get one of those little bottles of Poland Spring, and I just as I'm raising it to my lips, she yells, "No!" So of course I practically choke. And then I look on the bottle, and written in big Sharpie letters is just "Holy." And then I start glowing and levitating. No. But yeah, some water brands are cool. Like I was on a plane once and they were serving a brand of water called Aquarius water. And I was like, oh shit, that's sick. Like they should make a brand of water for every zodiac sign. Like I want a brand of water of my sign. And then I thought about it a little more and I was like, I don't think Cancer water would sell very well. But yeah, I'm a Cancer. It was just my birthday. And I recently went to a birthday party for a 26-year-old. Who the fuck cares that you're 26? We should only have birthday parties for single and triple digits. Like, when my great-grandmother turned 100, we had a big party. We let her sing in Polish. We indulged her. She already looked like the monster that was about to bring her to the underworld. And with little kids, we basically just want to find out if they're special needs. Like, all right, I will stop talking about that. Let's see what we can talk about. All right, so I can't judge anybody for their mental problems, though. I get something called ECT, which sounds like something you don't want in your food, like non-GMO, non-ECT. But what it is, it's shock therapy, which sounds extreme. Everybody always gets weird when they hear about it, like, oh my God, you're not going to remember anything. What are you going to do? If I wanted to remember what was wrong with me, I wouldn't be electrocuting my fucking brain. And the weirdest part of this procedure is when you wake up to the doctor charging his phone in your asshole. I think that's the strangest part of the entire debacle. But yeah, I blame my grandmother for all of that, though. All of the mental illness comes from her side of the family. She's the strangest woman I've ever met. She used to reuse the milk that we didn't use from the bottom of our cereal bowls. Like, why does this mac and cheese taste like Lucky Charms? Like, that's some Depression era scarcity shit. And she only has one pube, actually. Actually had is more accurate. All right, I guess I can't talk about anything even slightly inappropriate. So let's see what we can talk about. Yeah, she saw 50 Shades of Grey with ashes on her forehead on Ash Wednesday. She had God on her head and sin in her heart. But it's okay. I gave her a Poland Spring bottle of holy water and she was pure again. But yeah, speaking of purity, I always get jealous of people who are like 100% one ethnicity because like purebred dogs have shorter lifespans, right? Like life is fucking long. I'm 23. I feel 90. Like, let's move this shit along. I'm half Puerto Rican and half Polish, so I'm half disabled and half disabled. But you can guess which is which. But my father is the Polish one, and he insists on speaking to every brown person in Spanish. And we keep telling him that's racist. Like, not every brown person is Hispanic. And even if they are, not all of them speak Spanish. And even if they do, they don't want to speak it to you in a drive-through. But he insists he's learning it. He insists on doing this horrific accent too. Like he'll go up to a brown waitress and he'll be like, "¿De qué país eres tú?" And she'll be like, "Pakistan." And he insists he's learning it to better relate to his new wife's Ecuadorian family. So we're like, just fucking speak it with her and practice with her. But they don't have the best relationship. So he's like, she doesn't even fucking speak to me in English. But yeah, I don't know why my mother ever married him. I think I can pinpoint the moment their marriage failed. We were in the kitchen of my childhood home, and some backstory. My mother has a thing with scabs. Like, she used to collect them in a jar when she was little. Like, it's fucking horrific. But we were in the kitchen one day, and she picks off a scab, already great. And I don't know what comes over her, but she says to my father, "I bet I can flick this onto your tongue." And my father, rightfully so, thought there's no way in hell she makes this. So he accepted the challenge. And she lines up. I didn't think that was that inappropriate, but I'll move on. And let's see, they got divorced the same day. Let's just assume that you can assume what happened there. Yeah, but I like being a white Puerto Rican though. I get all the attitude and the privilege. It's great. Yeah, but these days you always see women, especially Hispanic women, wearing those tight ass biker shorts, you know? Like, you have to be really confident in your vagina to wear shit like that. Like women with outie vaginas can't wear shit like that. Like, just have like a cauliflower ear sticking out. You told me I could talk about like dildos and stuff, so I don't know why you keep muting me.
I'm not muting you, hon.
Okay. I keep getting muted. I don't know who's muting me, but
we're live on 4 different platforms, so it could be one of them.
Okay. But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, so women love to talk about their vaginas though. Girly girls are gay as shit in general. Like, I guarantee you have never heard a lesbian catcall anyone, but straight girls will be like grabbing each other's tits and like yelling across the gym, "Your booty looks great today. Did you do squats?" And like I've seen drunk girls at parties making out with each other. Like I got called a lesbian all through high school, and I can't imagine why. But I like everybody, but I was way more stubborn than I was gay. So I was like, I was like, you motherfuckers are not going to find out that I only watch gay porn. But high school, we had a German exchange program. And the day that the Germans showed up was the day that we all showed up with our anti-Germany World War I projects. So the Germans hop off the plane and we show up with our posters that say Germany sucks, defeat the Hun. And they're like, I don't think they like us. I can't do accents. But yeah, high school was good. College wasn't so good for me. I did end up graduating. Took me 5 years, but I did end up graduating. But I didn't have a roommate or anybody to keep me accountable, so I could just rot. And I self-medicated a lot. I got so high one time that I slept until 4 p.m. the next day and missed classes and calls from my mother. And all I could focus on was this insane pressure on my asshole. And I lived at the opposite end of the hall from the bathroom, so I knew I wouldn't make it. And even if I tried, I wasn't walking down the hallway like this. So what I did, I had a plastic cup in my room, and it took me a few seconds to come to terms with being the most disgusting person alive before squatting over the cup, getting most of it in, and then realizing that this cup was clear, so I would have to walk down the hallway with a clear cup full of shit to go dump it. But I wasn't too embarrassed, though. Everybody has a shitting their pants story. Most of them involve White Castle, if we're being honest. And did you know that White Castle takes Valentine's Day reservations? Nothing says I love you like fried clams and chicken rings, right? Oh, I didn't mispronounce wings, by the way. They have chicken rings. Eating at White Castle is a lot like getting communion at church. Like, it involves a lot of sacrifice, and you try not to think about the fact that you're eating human. But speaking of religion, my alma mater used to hold a Jesus Awareness Day, which, if there's anything I think people are aware about, like breast cancer awareness, autism awareness, I get it. Jesus has practically been the most famous man on earth for 2,023 years, second only to Michael Jackson. And the big draw for this quote was that they posted up on the main street of the college town with a bounce house, which was fucking brilliant. Like they must have converted at least 200 people with their Jump for Jesus marketing. But the religious people probably wouldn't be too happy about that, though, because religion is famously anti-fun. Like, did you know you can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery if you have tattoos? I wonder if they're more strict about that than the dick snipping. Like, if an uncircumcised guy wanted to convert to Judaism and tattooed his dick to look like it was circumcised, would they be like, all right. But yeah, where was I going with that? Yeah, I love tattoos, though. I have a lot of tattoos. Not that I'm trying to be buried in a Jewish cemetery, but my mother has a really sweet tattoo. She got mine and my sister's birthdays tattooed on her wrist. Aw. But we're like 3-4 years apart. So people started asking her if it was the birth and death dates of an angel. So now my mother has a tattoo that reminds her of dead babies. Death is obviously a very macabre subject, but some deaths are funny. Like, have you ever Googled the way some hamsters die? Like, some of them give themselves heart attacks by sneezing too hard. I read about one once that escaped from its cage and ran straight into the fireplace. My father had a hamster as a kid, and it froze to death because he gave it a bath. At some point, I think it's just nature saying we need to be done with hamsters. At least they don't rape each other like squirrels. But I think that I get kids do stupid shit like that all the time though. Like I was fully stupid as a kid. Like I used to eat napkins. I used to think that when you said someone died from drinking, it just meant drinking. Like, hun, Uncle Simon drank himself to death. I didn't drink water for 2 years. Like, I get unhealthy obsessions all the time. Like, my favorite show is a show called Life Swap. Some of you have heard of it. I watch about 12 episodes a day. And the best part of this show by far is the table meeting, where the wives tell each other what they made the other family do that was against their values. So, like, you guys were professional river dancers, so I broke your children's kneecaps and converted them to Islam. Some of them end in a table flip. Those are the fucking best ones. Like, the hippie mom is like, "You made my daughters shave their armpits." Shaving is bullshit, though. I hardly shave anything anymore. Some people find that repulsive. I don't give a fuck. The only thing I clean up is my pubes, and I resent every minute of it. It's smooth for about 12 hours, and then it's absolute hell. Is there any more primal state than an itchy crotch? Like, it's a universal human experience, and nobody talks about it. Like, when I'm alone and my pubes are growing back, I'm a bridge troll. Like, and you have to solve riddles to find out if it's an STD or not. People love to blame their STDs on the other person, though. Like, how the fuck do I have pubic lice? I do a once over every other day on my taint with a 3-in-1 body wash. But yeah, people love to blame their bad habits on other people in general. Like, I don't agree with that at all. I used to have a drinking problem, and I was never like, how dare you make me drink vodka out of a plastic bottle while I work at a summer camp. Yeah, I realized I had a lot of bad habits when they started recognizing me at the drive-thru. That was really. They recognize me a lot of places, actually. I would be very easily abducted. But I think the most pathetic place that they know me is the pharmacy, though. Like, I don't even have to say anything. I just pull up and they go and get my shit. But I think it's in your best interest to be friends with your pharmacist, though, because they know too much. Like, if you're on bad terms with them, they could just call up your ex and be like, "She's on 3 antipsychotics. It wasn't your fault." But yeah, medication is expensive as shit. It's like having kids. I don't want kids, though. Fuck that. Like, I just wrote all my neuroses onto an impressionable little mind. Like, absolutely not. But yeah, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, you always see those baby on board stickers on cars. Like, what are you hoping to accomplish with that? Like, I was gonna rear end you at 80 miles an hour, but now that I know you have a baby on board, I'm gonna hit you harder. I drive like a dumbass, though. I have a good driver character that only comes out when my mother is in the car. Like, I'm a dumbass in general. I'm 100% the person to tilt my hand to check my watch while I'm holding an open cup of something. Like, oh fuck! I often look at my watch to check the weather. I don't have a smartwatch. And it comes out at the worst times too. Like I would be taking a test in high school and I would have to spell the word Renaissance, and I'd be like, it'd be easier to just drop out. Like I should just drop out. But yeah, I got a 1440 on the SAT. This can't be the same brain that I used to take the SAT. That was my one academic accomplishment in my life, and now I tell shit jokes. But yeah, speaking of shit jokes, shitting right after showering is like that pile of lawn clippings that spews out of the side of the lawnmower right onto the nice clean grass. You know? That's shitting after showering. People like to keep their houses looking nice, though. They like to decorate and shit. Something I don't agree with, though, welcome mats. I feel like you get a lot of vampires. But yeah, I used to be a vampire fanatic. I wanted to take a hearse to prom. I was one of those weirdos. But can you imagine a hearse getting pulled over by the cops? Like, hey, what do you got in the back there, huh? Like, take an educated guess. The cop goes around the back, opens the coffin, and it's just 100 dead hamsters. All right, that's enough of me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Paige.
So where can you be followed?
I can be followed on Instagram at PAIGEJARU and Facebook at Paige Turner. And yeah, that's about it.
All right. I would like to thank you guys for coming, and hopefully we'll be able to do another one of these.
Thank you for hosting.
All right.